is Rousek? Did he just get?
We're going to send him to get looked at, but he took a stick up, and we'll get the doctors to look at us and wait for the news on it.
Is Clifton okay? Because he started the practice without Bryson, but he ended the practice with Bryson. Is he okay?
We had 7D, so I'm not sure why. I'm not sure, one, what you're referring to or why he wouldn't have been.
He was paired up with Rousek to start, and then halfway through practice he was paired up with Bryson.
Well, we had 3 defensemen in one color and the other 4 defensemen in the other color, so some forward had to jump in. And when you have, obviously, 3D and you go in pairs, the pairs probably got messed up. So,
But he's okay.
yeah, he is, yeah. To the very best of my knowledge, he is 100% okay, yeah. Yeah, but that would have been it in practice, just rotation.
What was your reflection on Jack?
He looked really good in practice. He fit in. I mean, obviously, he had lots of time while we were gone to skate. He skated every day, or every day he was available to push it hard every day. He was cleared for that in rehab skates. I thought it's totally different when you hop into practice, conditioning level, puck battles against. We didn't have anybody else here to battle him when we were gone that was of the NHL. No other injured players. So that was a big day for him, and I'm sure he's tired as a result. I'll talk to him after, but he's very close. I would say he is officially day-to-day, meaning, it could be tomorrow based on conversation we'll have following this.
What does his presence do for the team? Not just on the ice, but we've talked about.
You know what?
Everyone loves him so much.
Everyone loves him, so there's that dynamic of energy and vibrance and passion for the game. But look at the analytics. It's his analytic numbers are, elite production. When he's and I've talked about him for 2 years now, of how talented he is and what a good hockey player he is for us. And like I said, I don't need to say any more on him. Just look at the numbers he produces and we produce when he's in the lineup. Which is, again, it makes everybody else better, because now there's one more highly talented scorer that's dangerous that the other team has to pay attention to, and diverts attention away from Tuck Thompson, consumes attention, demands attention of matchups and worry and concern, and that opens up more scoring for everybody else. So, and as I mentioned, the numbers show that.
In spite of whatever successes you might have had line-wise on the road trip, was it a no-brainer just to put Jack right back with Dylan and JJ?
Yeah. Again, the history of it, the energy that they bring, and those guys as a trio, they're in sync. And again, it will open up more scoring opportunity. Everybody wants to say, Thompson hasn't scored as much, and when you don't have the scoring depth, the other team can key more on you. When you have the second line and third line scoring depth, it preoccupies the attention of the other team to a greater degree, and it opens up more space for the next guy to score. Putting Quinner back there, we know that's going to be the potential right away for them to have that dynamic component. The familiarity is there. You could see it today in practice, and hopefully that opens up. And Krebs has moved up. He was with Skinner and Benson today, and I like the way those 3 look. They process the game, very well offensively. They've all gotten better. Krebs has gotten much, much better defensively. Benson has been, good and strong in that area, and I think Skinner's paid more and more attention to that, which is, more effective overall as well. And I like the way those guys process things up the rink from the offensive side, and you could see a little energy and life there too with those 3 together today. So, hopefully that would be the case tomorrow based on Jack.
Pardon me. How important is it to get him back on like a normal schedule here with everything that he's been through for like the last year, and even going beyond before that when he had the hernia to deal with, and had that end his one season, but the Achilles and whatever this issue was, to just get him back into the flow, back to a normal hockey life here.
It's when this injury happened with Quinn, it was painful to watch it from the bench. Obviously, he has the injury across the ice from you, and it looks like it's a significant injury, and it was. And you know everything the kid's gone through with injuries in the past 2 seasons, which is his career to this point. And you thought it was the potential season ending. So to see him come back and be able to play games right now is really significant for him and for our team. Unfortunately, with some guys, Samuelson has had the injury bug earlier in their career. It's sometimes it's acclimating to the league and situations within the league, being able to protect yourself better. And I think that's just part of a process with lots of guys, lots of entries. Guys that enter, and it's part of being, a younger player is adjusting the way you need to adjust sometimes. And but which I do think these guys do. Adjust their game, but it's significant to have him back for us as a team and a franchise, and certainly for him where he's at in his career.
You're still in this thing. You got 5 in a row at home here. For all the talk of your troubles at home, legitimate talk the last 2 years, you're 5-1 in the last 6 at home, and you seem to potentially have found a little more swagger in this building. Just do you get that sense some of those recent home games were a little different, and you guys were playing like a team is supposed to play at home?
I think they were dramatically different. Again, mood on the bench, preparation even before the game, you could feel the difference. I think Rasmus Dahlin has stepped up, and Thompson has stepped. The guys have stepped up in the recent couple of weeks, and we obviously want that to continue, and I don't see any reason it wouldn't. But let's say we knew we're going through different phases, and you do that, and you hope when you know you're going to come out the other side based on the talent and skill the guys have and the age that they are. You just want to come out faster, and when you come out the other side, you have a lot more experience and hindsight and confidence as a result, and they're showing signs of that, and we are. So that's all good, and this would be a great time. You mentioned five games in a row to hunker down. It should be an advantage. It is on paper. Now we have to take it to heart and do it based on our last few games. So we'll see, but it's still one game at a time, and you're never out till you're out. That's the way sports. The exciting part about sports, and I think our locker room feels that way. It's just tomorrow night.
You looked at Trek, whether you played well or not. The fact is, in the losses, it was a 1-goal game still in the third period. I think in all 3 of them, but you were there. You were right there, and you weren't able to get over the hump in Evie. And does that almost make it a little more aggravating that you were right there? Maybe you weren't at your best game in some of them.
Yeah, and think about 2 months ago, Paul, and we sat in here, and your questions then, as they should have been, and everybody's, was our starts. Why are we behind in our start and our starts and our starts? And every game it was our starts. And we haven't heard that talk anymore. And you mentioned both, games in the Vancouver and in Edmonton, Detroit. I don't remember the scores, but they were all tight games, and they're all winnable games in the third period because it didn't get out of control. And I think the one you heard me on the radio this morning, I'm sure the one that frustrated me the most was the Edmonton one, because I felt we just vacated Upi. Out of frustration, out of the competitive guys got really frustrated, and details became a blur in the last 5 minutes, and we give up 3, unnecessary goals. So yeah, there's frustration there, but on the good side, the growth side was the fact that we've been, Upi and our defensive group have kept us in games that are winnable all the way down to stretches. But let's face it, we're not happy without a win. So. No matter what I just said, it's not good enough.
Back to Jack. You've talked about his focus. I think you called him a torpedo at one time.
Homing torpedo.
Yeah.
Homing. I remember that, saying that, because he visualizes where he needs to go, and he's on that target, and he stays on it. So I apologize to interrupt you, but.
No. But is that, and we know his person, is that what makes him able to handle this adversity? Because to go through 2 injuries like that and 6-7 months, that could break a 22-year-old, and he's come through it probably better off.
It would certainly discourage anybody, but when people don't get discouraged under adversity, that's demonstrative of their confidence. People that lose lose confidence through adversity, they don't have a vision and a picture and a determination that I will get there. That's why Tage Thompson, through lots of adversity, you could see he had the makeup to succeed. He's driven to succeed in a vision that I am going to do it. So the thing right in their forefront is the injury. It's pushing this aside. I know where I want to go. I see where I want to go. And when they walk in this building, you feel and sense they, in their mind, know where they want to get to. They're not dwelling on today and the adversity or challenge of today. And that's Jack. I mean, Jack has such a deep passion, love for the game, but he's got a clear vision of how good he can be, and he knows it. So if he didn't have that confidence, he would be coming to us, asking us questions all the time, and he doesn't have a vision of where he wants to go, he'd be really down. But these guys are driven, and they have a vision of where they want to go, and I use Tage as an example, and Middlestead was that way, obviously, and Quinner is definitely that way in this situation.
Was there any thought given to shutting him down for the season, or did that not really factor in much?
You always have a thought of it until you see more of the injury and his rehab and his progress. But right away with the injury, the doctor said, "Hey, it's going to take this amount of time," and the doctors were we stuck pretty much to that timetable, which was well within the end. Games left, obviously, but the only thought of that was before the doctors did everything they needed to do, had the assessment, which was 2 or 3 days. And then after that, I was like, okay, he's going to be able to return and should be able to return unless there was a setback. And obviously there was no setback in the rehab process. So we feel, very confident in his ability to play games for us, whether that's tomorrow or the next game. He'll be ready to go.
How much do you think he positively impacts Dylan Cousins in particular? Just the way those two work together.
Huge impact. And I think vice versa. I think if Jackson will line up and Dylan's out, there's an effect there. I mean, these guys are really good hockey players. So you take one off their line and it screws up the entire line. And I think JJ has an impact on both of them. So yeah, it's team sport. So you start losing key players in a team sport. you need it's 5 guys on the ice at the same time, obviously with the goalie. You miss one piece, you're on a penalty kill. You have one drop in skill and one drop in talent on your line, you're closer to killing a penalty than you are, playing 5-on-5. And those guys are damn good hockey players.
It doesn't always set up good for you when you come back from the West. Is this a better setup for you where the players can get a good night's sleep?
You don't know the answer to that till tomorrow night.
Well,
Yeah.
you saw them today. I mean,
Yeah.
then they fly, have
Yeah.
a good night's sleep, then you get them to practice today.
Yeah.
And then you have a game. I mean, you saw them in practice today. Did they?
Yeah, I mean the practice today looked good. It's different though. You wake up today and you feel differently. You still fight the time change, but the answer is always at 7:00 the next night on the puck drops. And it's all relative, right? If the other team is horrible and they have a bad night, it's easier for you. If they have a great night and they're hitting on all cylinders, you got to rise. There's always a team on the other side of the court or the rink. It's all relative, So, we won't know the answer. We're not going to be happy unless we win. Period. That's the answer. So, I don't know the answer of how you feel. I don't care how you feel. Win the game, right? All right. See you guys. Thanks.